Could you tell me in one sentence who you are, why you're here? What was the other one? Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm nervous.
Just that.
Okay, so first off, could you tell me who you are and why you're here?
Sure, I'm John Mackey. I'm a composer, and I'm here to see a bunch of high school bands play my music and whatever other less exciting music that they decide to play.
So tell me about your experience so far being here at Grand Nationals.
Sure, it's been really, really fun. Before I started writing concert band music, right out of college, what I was doing is writing a lot for dance companies. So I got kind of accustomed to seeing visualization to my music, and I loved that back then with dancers. And so this is like a really fun thing again to see that kind of thing happening more with my music. I don't write it currently thinking that it's going to be march, but so much of it does get used for marching use, and it's just really cool to just see how the designers bring out things in my music visually that I didn't even remember, that I make like secondary lines and things, and they make that the focus, and it's really cool.
From your perspective, I'm curious, your music fits very well in the marching scene. We see it every season that we go through. What do you think from your perspective makes it so perfect for this activity?
So I've thought about this, and I had the realization like a year or so ago. I exercise a lot because I'm a little bit high strung, and so I spend a lot of time running, and when I run, I write a lot of my music in my head while I'm exercising and running. And I realized that the pace I run is like quarter note 160, 170. And so I just get high energy music in my head that's the tempo of quarter note 170 or whatever. And it just turns out that I guess works well with flags or something.
Yeah, I'm curious now, what is it's watching all these groups? How much do you go to these events, and how much do you pay attention to these groups that are using your music?
I mean, completely honestly, I don't come to these very often. There are a lot of high schools that use my music every year, 50 to 100 every year. I think this week here, since this event started, I think there are 6 or 7 bands using my music. Today in the prelims, there are 2 bands that made it through with my music. So I think this is only the second time I've been to this. I've gone to DCI several more times. I've seen a lot more of that than the high school stuff.
Sure.
But I love all of it. It's just I travel so much for other things, and I just kind of brought myself here because I thought it'd be fun, and I wanted to, marching band is so important to the kids who play in it. And I never played in band, I'd never played an instrument, so I never got to experience that really amazing social thing and just like working so hard on a show for the whole semester. And I think if the kids are going to take the time to invest into my music, and the directors and the arrangers and the designers are all going to make that happen, the least I could do this year is come and watch and support and clap for them.
And one of those groups is West Salem, Oregon.
Yeah.
The first ever group actually from Oregon to come to BOA Grand Nationals. Yeah, it's crazy. Their entire show is Wine Dark Sea.
Yeah.
Could you explain to me kind of what it's like to see that visualization from start to finish?
Yeah, that's really fun. When I wrote that piece, I said I wasn't thinking this is going to be a marching band show, but when I finished it, it's a narrative piece. It's a 30-minute piece in the original that tells a story, though. And I thought, you could cut this down. You could do, these could be your 3 parts of a marching show. And I think they're the first to do it that I am remembering, at least. It's definitely the first I've seen in person. So it's really great to see, I'm the only music in the show, and I love that they found a way to follow my narrative shape, and it's not just a lot of the shows, for good or bad, or just what the need is of the design, use a bunch of pieces by a bunch of different composers. And I think it's nice to see something that was conceived by a concert composer from the beginning. This is the structure, and they followed it, and it looked great, and they sounded really great. So I love that show.
Forgot my next question. Yeah. Shoot.
Got this, Andy. I believe in
I swear to God, I'm better at interviews than this. I'm literally nervous.
It's going fine. It's going. Be sure to keep this part.
This is going in the blooper reel for the weekend.
the personal thighs.
Oh, yes, okay. So digging into kind of the narrative and the story behind the pieces, what inspires you, and how is it that you're grabbed by a story or an idea or a narrative?
A lot of it comes from the title first. I have done more and more programmatic pieces like Wine Dark Sea, and a piece I just did about my mother has dementia, and so I wrote a piece about her journey, but told the story backwards. So I do some of those pieces, and I think those are those are a little bit easier to write, honestly. You know, if you're telling a story that's it's programmatic, it's like writing a film score almost, which I can't do, but I can write like a 20-minute band piece. So I don't know, I think often people, generally my wife will suggest like what the story of the piece should be. She used to be a screenwriter, so she can tell me like, hey, write a piece about blah, blah, and I'll be like, I got nothing else, so that's what we're doing. So that's what happened with Wine Dark Sea. That was entirely her idea. I mean, it was Homer's idea when he wrote the Odyssey, because that's all, but it was her idea, like, let's just rip that off. So that's what we did.
Your music demands a lot of emotion from the performers, a lot of investment too, especially West Salem, when we're talking about them. What is it like to watch them, go all in and then finish the show and get that relief, that sense of relief and finish?
Yeah, no, that's been really, really fun, and you can't see it so much necessarily from, just the seats in the stadium, but I was able to watch another band perform and watch it on monitors here in the stadium, and there were close-ups of the students at the end of the show, and just to see how excited and happy they are, that kind of adrenaline rush they must have to like hear the crowd cheering. And I write all concert band music, so I'm used to, if we get 50 people in the audience, woo, but this is crazy. Like, to imagine having thousands of people cheering for you. And last night, oh shoot. Is it us?
We're being welcomed.
Let's try to wrap it up so we can get out of here.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so we just happen to be doing this interview right before Blue Springs is about to go on, and they're performing Asphalt Cocktail.
Yes.
Have you seen them, and what do you even feel about watching them perform?
So I'm super excited. I haven't seen them play. My piece is the first part of their show, and I went and watched some of their rehearsal last night after dinner, and they were only working on the last third of the show, which has little snippets of Asphalt Cocktail, but it's not the bulk of that part of the show. So I haven't seen it yet, so I'm excited to get to the stands and check it out. That one gets marched pretty often, but I very rarely get to see it. So this will be a real treat.
Any last words you would like to say to the marching community? You've got it. You've got your podium.
No, I know. I think it's, like I said a few minutes ago, I think it's really great that it's an honor to have my music included in marching shows. This is the marching arts, the students that play in this, it's the most important thing for a lot of them. And to be a small part of their experience for the months that they're doing that, whether it's in a big competition like this or just, in their own towns, I think that's really special to be part of that memory that they'll have forever.